All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about headlamps. So as a cat fisherman, fishing at night, headlamps are a very important tool for having out in the boat, collecting bait, putting your gear away, whatever. Anytime you're out on the water after dark, headlamps are an essential tool. So when I'm looking at for a headlamp, I'm always looking for something that's really bright, can reach out a distance, has good battery life, and is durable and will last a long time. For the most part, if you do a little bit of night fishing, you can get away with just the standard little Energizer or cheap, Walmart specials you find, in the aisle section, as you're checking out, just little cheap headlamps. They'll work, they're fine. You can use alkaline batteries for that or whatnot. But for me, using it almost every single time I'm out fishing, I want something that's rechargeable and durable and going to last a long time. Up until now, I've been using this LED lenser that my wife actually got for me as a gift, and it's been great. I've had it 5 or 6 years. I did have to do one warranty deal on it for this cord, and quickly I'll just mention that that's one of the reasons I'm was kind of looking for a replacement. They're getting a little long in the tooth. Like I said, I've had it 5 or 6 years now, and one of the failure points is this connection here, and it has a connection because it goes to a battery pack in the back. So in order for the energy to get up here to the front, you do have to have a cord. There are some benefits to that. You can get an extension and actually put this battery pack on your hip or whatnot, but it's a couple of things. Other things I like about this one real quickly is it has a focus system. You push in and out, so it goes to spot or flood. And the other thing I do like is that it has a lockout program where you can, if you hold the button long enough, it essentially locks everything out. So if it's in your pack and you bump it or something and it turns on, it won't turn on. It's locked out. So some of the things I really like about that, really nothing bad to say about this thing other than the back battery pack is heavy and the front is a little heavy too. Combined weight, I believe, is almost 13 ounces, so nearly a pound on this headlamp. And another reason I was kind of looking at some other stuff is just, a little cumbersome. So I've been seeing these ads come across my Facebook on these Coast headlamps and seeing, good reviews and stuff. So I thought I would check into those, and everything I found has some really good positive reviews. So I actually saw 2 kind of comparable ones. The Coast XPH34. These are kind of the top of the line headlamps that they have. The XPH34R and the WPH34R. And there's a couple of differences I'll go through here real quickly. So let's start with the Coast XPH34R. I believe this one is the most comparable to the LED lenser that I just showed you. So this one comes in at sorry, I got a few notes here, so I'm just going to look quick here. The XPH, one of the big things right away is this one is 6.3 ounces. So half the weight of the one I just showed you, which is a big deal when you're wearing this on your head all night, fatigue sets in, whatnot. And the battery, there's no battery pack on the back, so it's a little smaller package. And you're not sacrificing much in light, if anything. In fact, this one is very comparable and even maybe just a little bit brighter. The focus mechanism on this one from flood to spot is just turning the dial up front here. Everything's kind of contained up in front here. It's a little heavy up front, but not unusable. I've actually, before I was going to do this video, I made sure I've tested it out several nights here, and I haven't experience any fatigue or anything wearing this one. It's definitely not as light as some of the smaller Energizer ones like I mentioned previously. It's definitely heavier, but I think because of that it'll probably last a little longer too. So this one here has basically 3 modes. When you turn it on, it goes to medium. Sorry, I'm gonna go back. It's got 4 modes. So you click it once, it goes to medium. Click it again, it goes to high. You click it again, it goes to low. And then there's also a turbo option where you hold it in, and that's the brightest it'll go. And at that setting, 2075 lumens on this one. Now, when I put this on turbo, now I see the real world, what it looks like after dark. And I'll show you, I went out and did some tests after dark here. The turbo is not twice as bright as the highest setting, which is 1025 lumens. I think that 1025 is pretty accurate. The turbo, I'm not so sure about the 2075. It's not twice as bright. The other thing to remember about the turbo is when you turn it on, it automatically shuts down after, I think it's 30 seconds, and I'll go, I think it's either turns off or it goes to a low setting. So when you turn that turbo on, it'll automatically go down. It does have a magnet built in, and this does remove as well, so you can pull this right off the strap here, and now you have a little handheld flashlight. It's got a magnet, stick it to whatever metal object you have. Real handy to use almost as a work light, you know, if you don't want to have it attached to your head. I'll probably mostly keep it attached to the strap here. This is plastic, keep that in mind. It does seem a pretty high density though, so hopefully that'll hold up. But I won't be taking it on and off very much. So also, so there's two ways to charge this. It does have a removable battery, and it's a 4000 milliamp, and there's actually a charging port on the battery with a light that comes on. And you can, what's nice about this is you can buy spares. So if you're worried about your light dying, you just have a spare ready to go, pop it in, and it's good. So that's one way to charge it. The other way to charge it, and I do like this charging system. It's really nice, and you know it's sealed and probably mostly dust proof or waterproof. You're not dealing with little rubber, you know, plugs. On a lot of these headlamps have rubber plugs or whatever, but you just unscrew this cap, and there's a USB port, you know, underneath this cap, which is contained within these threads. So that's a great idea and good design for sure. So yeah, this just pops back on here. It articulates up and down, and like I said, you have the twist to focus. So the other thing about this XPH34R, I'll go through a couple more of the specs here as well. So at the high setting, it's 1025 lumens. Medium setting is 330 lumens, and low is 73 lumens. And the run rate for each one, respectively, is 6.25 hours, 11.25 hours, and 36 hours. The beam rate, so when you have this one focus at the tightest beam, 640 feet, which is a long ways away, which is nice for, you can actually use this kind of for navigating, you know, if you're out in the boat or whatever after dark, or walking down a long trail, you can really reach out there. So that's the XPH34R, and that one is $71 currently on Amazon, and I will put a link down in the description if you want to take a look at the Amazon description. It shows all the specs, reviews, whatnot. So the other one is the WPH34, and I kind of remember the two by, you know, W, kind of waterproof. This is their waterproof offering, and I should have mentioned the XPH34 has an IP54 rating, which is dust and splash proof. Easy way to say it. I'm sure it's more technical than that, but the WPH34R actually has a IP68 rating, so that one can go down to 5 meters. I mean, you can completely submerge this one. So if you're out fishing or hunting or whatever, drop it in a puddle or a pond, it's probably going to be okay. You're out in pouring rain, hunting, fishing, whatever, it's going to be okay. You can use this, you know, right through the pouring rain. So that's probably the best feature of this one, is completely waterproof. And the charging is the same way. You got a port here, you got a removable battery, pretty much the same as the XPH34. I did notice that the caps are a little tighter, so there must be some sort of seal in there to keep that waterproof, so it is a little harder to unscrew that. And I also noticed that the power button is a little more recessed as well, and I do like that because I think that would keep it from accidentally getting bumped on and off. And I wish that was one of the features on either one of these, that you could lock them so they don't turn on and off, because that does happen from time to time when you're traveling, have it in a bag, and you go to dig it out of your bag and the light's on, and next thing you know, your battery's dead. So a couple differences on this WPH34. There is no focus system on here, so it's a fixed focus. So you have basically the settings, the button settings are, you have flood, and then the next one is spot, and then the next one is combined flood and spot, and that will be your brightest setting. And then you also have a red and a green, and then it goes to a low setting. So personally, I don't do a lot of hunting, and I know red and green, I think people use the green, like for tracking or hunting. And red is nice in the boat as well if you have bugs or you don't want to have a bunch of light shining on people. You can get things done with red light. Personally, I don't use a whole lot of red light. My eyesight's going as I get older, so I just want, a quick shot of bright light, tie hooks, put on bait, whatever. So personally, I don't like having to cycle through all these. And you don't have to cycle through them all the time. If you go to your one setting, if you sit there, if they have it on for, 10 or 15 seconds, when you hit the next time, it's just going to go off. So you don't have to cycle through it every time. But however, say I wanted to go to the low setting on here right away, I got to cycle through all of them. So you'll see it goes flood, spot, red, green, and then the low. So if I wanted to go to low, I got to go through those every single time just to get to the low power. And personally, I don't like that at all. In fact, I hate it. So if I was to just on that feature alone, I would choose the XPH34. I want a light. I want a light on. I want a light off. And it's nice just having the medium, high, low setting and off. We're not dealing with red, green, spot, flood, cycling through all those. It would be nice if we could program this somehow where you could get your own individual settings. Maybe a guy just wanted red for a certain night. You could just have red on and off. So I think that's something that could be designed into this that would make it a lot better. Personally, for me, I hate cycling through buttons, and that would be probably the main reason I would choose the XPH34 over the WPH34. So some specs on this one. This one's $78. The settings for high, which would be both of these combined, would be 1,000 lumens. Medium is 530, low is 55. And I believe how that works is it's 530 with either flood and spot, and then the low is a flood at 55. Then you got the red and the green. The spot reaching out focused, which is a fixed, it's not adjustable. We're looking at 590 feet. So not quite as much as the XPH34. And this one also weighs more. This one's 2 ounces more. This one's at 8 ounces versus 6 ounces on the other one. So this one you might start to feel a little fatigue on this one. And I did notice when I had this one on a little bit for a couple nights when I was testing it, it does feel a little heavier. Having said that, I think the strap is a little better on the WPH34. It's got some silicone on it, and it feels like it would be a little more grippy, and it's also vented with holes with reflective tape. So if I decide to go with the XPH34R, I might actually take this headband off and swap it with that one, because I think this headband is a little nicer. So yeah, that's the WPH34 and the XPH34R. And for me, how I use it, and I'm not going to say this for everyone, the WPH34R, the specs actually show that it says it's not quite as bright as the XPH34. But what I've seen in my tests, like I'll show you here after we get done, I have some video after dark. The WPH is actually brighter, especially on the when they're both on, the flood and the spot is actually brighter than the turbo mode on this one. So the specs don't necessarily line up. If you're looking for just a straight up brightest light, definitely go with the WPH34R. Just from my observation, it's quite, well, I wouldn't say it's quite a bit brighter, but it's noticeably brighter than the XPH. So they're about the same price, a lot of same specs. I think you're going to be happy with either one of them. If you don't like cycling through all of them to get what you need, and you want to be able to kind of fine tune the spot and the flood, go with the XPH. If you want red and green and you want to be waterproof, the WPH is the one to go for. And it's, like I said, it's only like $5 more currently on Amazon. So they're both great lights. And let's take these outside. I'll quickly show you some settings, just show you how bright it is. And that's about all I have. That's the XPH and the WPH. Like I said, links in the description. Definitely recommended the XPH I've been using the last couple nights, and I really do like it. And it's going to replace this LED lenser for sure, just because of the bulkiness. And I like the recharging system on the coast as well. This is the XPH 34. That's setting 1. Setting 2. And here's turbo. Wide angle and spot. Boy, it's lights up my whole backyard here. Very impressive. Here's the WPH 34. Setting 1. And there's setting 2. That's the spot and flood. And here is turbo. It's, again, really impressive. And the red and the green. Thanks for watching and happy fishing.